David Fincher's Seven is coming to IMAX in 2025, and you should skip it.
No. This guy's methodical, exacting, worst of all, patient.
Like what you do for a living? Just things you say.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Yep, David Fincher's Seven is coming back to theaters thanks to Warner Brothers and the folks over at IMAX. And I gotta say, at first, I was intrigued. I was like, oh, I mean, I've seen Seven on the big screen a couple of times, at least once in 35 millimeter. I think I've seen it probably twice in 4K DCP. I've seen it on the big screen and everything. But if you say, Adam, would you like to see a David Fincher film on the big screen? My answer is pretty much always going to be yes. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to go see this one. So hot off the heels of Seven being announced for 4K Blu-ray and everything, they decided, hey, let's bring out Seven in IMAX. And from what I hear a lot of people saying, it's kind of very limited to all the area. Here in Charlotte, we have, I think, 3 IMAX screens, but I think only one of them is actually playing this. So I think they are limiting it because, let's be honest here, how many people are going out to see Seven in IMAX and just be like, you know what? Deborah, pack up the kids. We're gonna go see Seven in IMAX this weekend. Listen, it's a niche audience, but I'm happy that a niche audience can go out and see this movie on the big screen if you haven't seen it before. And that's the only way I can actually recommend this movie, is that if you've never seen it before, this is an excuse for you to see it on the big screen. However, I can't in good conscience actually recommend anybody go out, because as far as I can tell, correct me in the comments if you know otherwise, but I think these are all Fomaxes, all the kind of Limax, if you will. And I'm going to show you why that's going to be a little bit of a problem. All right, let's take a look at the Blu-ray for Seven. I told you I'm a fan. I even had the little Warner Snapper case before this little guy here and everything. 4K on the way. But this is a 2.4:1 aspect ratio. David Fincher very often shoots in this. And here's where the biggest problem lies, is the majority, if not all of your Fomaxes and everything out there will show your movie just like this. Black bars on top and bottom. We call that open matte in the business and everything. So one of the problems for that is that we still have that kind of light spill on top and bottom. Even if you're in a Dolby Cinema, which this won't be, this is in an IMAX, but even if you're in a Dolby Cinema, those 235 plus movies and everything, you still see those dark bands on top and bottom. It is not like they actually blacked it out with velvet curtain and everything. That's not the case here. So if you are okay with going to the movies and seeing this with the black bars on top and bottom, that's fine. But me, I can't really do it. So the majority of your IMAX, Fomax screens and everything will be this full kind of either 1:8:5 if you're lucky, probably not. It's usually more like 1.77:1, which is what your actual HDTV aspect ratio is. Usually when you have a 1:8:5 to 1 movie, you'll still have just a wee little bit of black bar there on top. Most people don't even really notice it's there, but if your TV's formatted properly, you'll see it. Look at this though. I am really excited for the 4K coming out, because this Blu-ray, listen, for when it came out, I'm sure this is absolutely fine, but what we've been seeing, especially from Warner Brothers and their 4K releases and stuff after that Terminator, whew! I'm excited to see what they do with this 4K release coming out. So you can either see it in the cinema or see it at home like I'm gonna end up doing. So that's it. I mean, you can go see Seven if you want to. If you've never seen it on the big screen, I definitely recommend seeing it on the big screen. I'm sure the new transfer is going to be the one that we're getting on the 4K Blu-ray coming up and everything. So if nothing else, it's really going to look spectacular. And since you are seeing it in IMAX, it's not like going to a like some sort of Fandango special feature thing or whatever, where they're like, oh, here's a TCM thing that ends up just being a 480p signal from a satellite dish. That's not this, thank God. Thank God they're sending it to IMAX, so at least you're gonna get like, a nice high crisp 4K picture and everything shown on a relatively large screen, but unfortunately with black bars on top and bottom. Now, if that doesn't bother you, head on down to the cinema, but if not, just be like me and wait to see it at home, and with a far better sound system dollar for dollar than even in my local IMAX theater. Sorry, IMAX theater, I got one up on it. It is what it is. Like and subscribe, everybody, and we'll see you next time. 7 is coming back to... No, not back. It was never there.